Alright guys, so here's another lesson covering surface area. This time we're going to be talking about nets of 3D figures. So in our last lesson we talked about 3D shapes. So now we're going to talk about the nets that go along with those 3D figures. So first thing, we're going to figure out vocabulary. What are nets? So whenever I'm talking about a net is a two-dimensional composite figure. And those composite figures connect all the faces of our 3D shape, but in a two-dimensional figure. So when folded, a net creates that 3D object. So we're going to use all the different sides, all the different faces of our 3D shapes to create a net. Or if we already have a net, we can use that net and fold up, quote unquote, fold those different faces and make a 3D object. All solid figures have specific nets. So we're going to have a bunch of different nets, a bunch of different shapes that are created using different nets. So not every net will create a single shape, okay? So we have to make sure we know all the different surfaces of our 3D shape to help us figure out which net goes with the correct 3D shape. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the first shapes we have here. So the first three shapes I drew were a cube, a rectangular prism, and then a triangular prism. So I'm going to go ahead and draw those nets that match with these prisms, okay? So go ahead and give me a second. All right, guys, so here we have our different shapes, and I drew nets that would go along with each one of these shapes. So for the cube, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different surfaces, the 6 different square faces to make that net. For this rectangular prism, I got my base. So this front part right here I drew as my base, and then going all the way around our lateral areas, all our lateral faces going around our base. And on the other end I have the other base, which we can't see, which would be on the back of that rectangular prism. And then for our triangular prism, I drew my base, which was a triangle, all the lateral surfaces that go and connect our two bases on to 3 different sides because it's a triangle, and then the other base, which is over here in the back on the other side. So if I were to get these nets and roll them up, it would make this 3D shape. If I were to get this net and roll it up and make it into a 3D shape, it'd be the rectangular prism. If I were to get all these square nets, roll them up, I would get my cube right there. So I know sometimes looking at these pictures that I drawn are a little bit hard to understand and comprehend. So what I did is I drew and cut out my own little model. It's not perfect, but it kind of gets the idea across. So I cut out this 3D shape. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sides. And if I get those sides and I kind of fold them up, so I'm going to fold it up. So I fold them up, and now I have my 3D shape. So in this case, it's a rectangular prism. Almost looks like a cube, but it's not exactly perfect. So this piece is kind of stuck inside there. Like, bring it out a little bit. There you go. See, all 3 sides are kind of connected. If I had glue and tape, I could tape it together, and I can make my perfect little rectangular prism. So that's what I'm doing when I have a net. I'm just getting my 3D shape. I'm taking all those surfaces and spreading them out. So this would be my new net for the 3D shape that it makes. On these ones right here, these are the nets. And when I put them together, they make this 3D shape. If I have the 3D shape, I can unravel them and show my different nets. So these are for prisms. So now let's go ahead and look at some models what would look like if I had a pyramid. All right, so let's go look at that. So here are our different pyramids that we have. Now remember, I'm not an artist, so remember when you're doing these problems, the nets will look a little bit better, and then the 3D figures are going to look a lot better than what I've drawn. But let's pretend it's a really good artist, and oh wow, Mr. Bryce is such a great artist. So this first one right here we have is a rectangular pyramid. So this is supposed to be a rectangle at the bottom, and it's connected with 1, 2, 3, 4 different triangular faces that meet at one single point. So if I were to take down each one of those different triangles and lay them out flat into a 2D shape, we'd have our rectangular base and then our 4 different triangles that connect at the very top. So on this one, our base is a triangle and we're making a pyramid, so we're connecting with a bunch of different triangles that meet at one point. So my base I shaded in was that triangle. Then I laid down 1, 2, the 3 different triangles that were connected at a single point. And so this is going to be our net. And this net right here is for a triangular, because the base is a triangular pyramid. This base right here was a rectangle. So this pyramid was a rectangular pyramid. All right. So now let's go ahead and look at some problems for you guys. And let's get through it.